So one thing Steam has learned about me is that I really like a game about cats. And this is a little bit different from the typical things that I would play. Maybe not so much cozy, maybe a little bit more mystery. But I wanted to take a peek at it. So today we're playing a little mystery story novel sort of thing. um, Related to, we'll say, unaliving, which I know some people are just beginning to absolutely detest that word, but we are trying to get through, YouTube being YouTube, and we're going to dive into the demo for A Tale of Dirty Whiskers. I'm noticing a typo. Thank you, my dears. Well, it's hard to come to the conclusion that you need to retire after doing what you love for a lifetime, but we need to respect our bodies and our limitations when our age catches up with us. The working souls deserve a rest. I cannot start the first day of this beautiful event without talking about the main occurrence that changed my professional life. You wouldn't be here today if the Whiskers case had not happened or taken part in my career. It all started on December 16th, 2019, when I received a slightly out of the ordinary call in my small office at the center of the city of Campatus. On the other side of the line, a cat named Cafe spoke. It's cold and very dark. The person who hired me was not exaggerating when they gave me details about the location of his house. It was dark, moist, cold, and smelled like fear. I'm in a taxi full of esoteric components and a strange smelling ashtray. The taxi driver is a huge healer covered in tattoos and barely fits in the car. She told me to be careful. This distant place had already been the target of many crimes in the past. Apparently, freshly dead corpses were dumped here, and their killers were never found. I step out of the car and get a good luck with a lot of vitality from the driver named Guides, along with some funny looking candy and a fun note to give her a good review on the app. I watch taxi leaving by the only road that connects this tiny and new neighborhood to civilization, definitely giving the taxi driver a sense of relief. Honestly, I'd also avoid coming here if I didn't have the cold blooded of a professional in my area. I go through a very high golden gate, already open for seeing my arrival, and stop in front of the huge door of the biggest mansion I've ever had the opportunity to see. It's inevitable to pay attention to the house's facade and its beautiful and mesmerizing garden. It's almost unimaginable that there is such a well kept place in the midst of these surroundings forgotten by time. In front of the house, a large golden sign presents the palace, Whiskers Mansion. It was all I knew from the family so far. A mother dead under suspicious circumstances, and a silly surname. Good morning, Detective. I suppose you've had a pleasant trip? My name is Cafe. Pronouns he, they. We talked on the phone a few days ago. Please, come in. The slender black cat was very well dressed, and seemed relieved to see me. He excused himself, and guided me towards the living room door, stopping before it. I know you are aware of the reason why I invited you to our home, but now I can give you more details. Exactly a year ago, my mother, resident and owner of this house, died tragically overnight. She had a heart attack. Well, she was a very stubborn lady who didn't take any care of herself, but I still can't take this story very easily. Her health had worsened very quickly, and I always insisted on making sure she took her medicines and paid attention to her diet. Her death was, at minimum, suspicious. I hear noise behind the door, as if a sharp conversation was taking place. Those are my siblings. I apologize beforehand for any inconvenience. They don't like surprises in our intimate family meetings. I also did not warn them about your visit. Otherwise, I knew they wouldn't come. Cafe looked nervous, swallowing hard and looking away. He seemed thoughtful about the situation of hiring a detective to investigate his own family. He finally opens the door that prevented me from seeing the beautiful living room and the 5 curious individuals who stared at me from head to toe. They then turned their attentive eyes back to Cafe. The first person in which my eyes landed was a tall and thin cat of bluish fur and a very intriguing gaze, calm and serious. She was dressed like someone important. You know we don't like visits, Cafe. Kitty. My siblings, I would like to ask for some respect towards the professional I hired to investigate our mother's death during this weekend. I know everyone has their own thoughts on what happened, but it all led towards one single path, the impossibility of it being a simple accident. Why do you care, Cafe? The old woman's dead. You need to forget it now. Just let it go, man. Cafe didn't seem to be bothered by the gray and white cat's comment, who seemed to be the youngest of them. She had a huge scar on one of her eyes. It seemed she had gone through something serious. All right, I'm just going to interject here. There are definitely a significant number of errors within the text, and obviously detective in every incident is missing a C. It needs some heavy editing in order for this to be, in my opinion, ready for sale. Chill, Silver, this will be interesting. Welcome to the Whiskers annual family meeting, Chief. Can I call you that? Name's Pequeno. It means tiny. Pleased to meet you. This guy was definitely huge. I couldn't believe his name. He seems to be the charismatic one to this family, and certainly one of the oldest. I noticed one last cat in the room, who had with her a small kitten, seemingly quite curious about the situation. I feel like she wouldn't even talk to me had I not noticed her presence first. My name is Mel. It's a pleasure to meet you. This is my kitten, Alecrim. He seems to be excited to meet you. An elegant and sweet-looking woman, her body structure and pelt were quite different from the other cats present in the room. The kitten did not say a word. Perhaps he was shy or nervous. Alecrim had an accident with his hearing aid, so he can't hear you right now, but he can read lips like no one else. He's a good boy. The tiny cat talks in a loving tone as she pets the child's ears. He seems to like her a lot. He smiles at me, and I return the gesture. By the way, you can call me Shiver. Unfortunately, I still live here. Nice to meet you. Cafe clears his throat to get my attention. They let me know there's one sibling still missing, and that he should arrive soon. I nod in response as I try to distract myself from the mixed looks and uncomfortable silence. It's inevitable to notice that all the siblings were quite different from each other, both in their pelt and traits, which makes it clear to me that the victim had relationships with several men during her lifetime. In a few minutes, one last cat enters the room, looking quite confused upon seeing me. He's not welcomed with joy by any one of those present, except for Shiver and Alecrim. Hey, what's going on? Wow, did Princessa have another child in this meantime? He talks uninterested after kissing his nephew's head, trying to dissect me with his gaze. Shiver lets out a tiny laugh, but quickly cuts it off. Name's Nino. I like your hat. Who are you? He definitely did not like the hat. Our dear cafe is keen on breaking with tradition this year. This young man was hired by him and is here to investigate our mother's death, right on our annual meeting to honor her. What a disaster. I won't lie. I'd also be offended if someone in my family hired a person to look at me weirdly and mess with my personal belongings. But this time something caught my attention. I can tell everyone agreed with the blue cat's speech, and they are all at least millimetrically nervous. it won't be as easy as I imagined. At that moment, all the siblings agreed on one thing. The possibility of having a killer in the room was alarming. All right, and that is our little sneak peek at A Tale of Dirty Whiskers. Now, considering some of the settings that were available, I thought that this was going to be, um, voice volume. I thought that it was going to actually do the speaking for me. And we have things to allow us to auto forward the time and everything. So I really thought that there wasn't going to be any need to read. Maybe something's not working correctly. I'm not sure quite what's going on. Um, Maybe these are backwards and the voice is actually this way. That doesn't make sense though. So, yeah, a few issues, a few little things that I would consider a little unclear, but I definitely am interested in seeing where the story goes. The little bit that we've gotten has definitely hooked me in. I just need there to be some fixes to the grammar, the spelling, little details that make it difficult to read. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you a day full of purrs, whimsy, and wonder. Don't forget to paw that like button if you're enjoying curling up here today. And remember, stay cozy, stay kind, and stay curious.